We have one more session, a fantastic session here on stage about PropTech, driving sustainability for real estate. We spoke about driving sales. It's now about driving sustainability because that is equally important in this new world. Gentlemen, over to you. Have a wonderful session.
Check, test. Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you for continuing to wait. I know it's the end of day's play for most people. I know you guys are probably pooped as well. We'll try to keep this short. We'll try to keep this brief to the point and hopefully entertaining to some extent as well. I'd first of all like to thank our panelists here. Most of them have come from, taken an early morning flight or an early afternoon flight and have made it here just in time. So I'll let them get on with the introductions as well as introduce what they do. And if you're wondering why we have two moderators, in case if I make a mistake, considering how old I am, I have someone much younger by my side to help me out. And he'll also be asking the more tougher questions. So you can blame him and catch him in case it doesn't align with our script. But Yash, you'd like to give a little bit of an intro about yourself?
Hi, I'm Yash Mirchandani. I'm totally not going to grill you guys at all. And we're a family business developers in Mumbai, Bhopal, Indore, and Pune. And I think we can start with Sourabh, and then we can go on.
Thank you so much. I'm Sourabh, co-founder of PotHoleRaja. We started our journey with by fixing potholes on road, and now we are making roads from recycled plastic waste. This is one of the most unique concepts in the entire country, wherein sustainability, we believe that shouldn't just be a buzzword, but it should be implemented. And that's where we are. After 2.5 years of research, what kind of plastic should be used and how do we recycle it? Here we are, and we are now making roads, pavements from 100% recycled waste, which is not just about sustainability, but it is very, very cost effective as well. So yeah, that's who we are, and that's what I do.
Hi, thanks CREDAI-MCHI for inviting us. It's ironic, right? The session on marketing was full, and the session on sustainability is struggling to find a few people. But that's the state of affairs.
That is unfortunately.
So, this is, the focus is the challenge here. But yeah, so what we do, we hope will help fill more people is, my name is Sriram, I run a company called Smarter Dharma. We help simplify adoption of sustainability. We have a data science platform where we help set sustainability goals for a builder, give a financial outlay on how it's going to be, have first of its kind product catalog of sustainable solutions in the country. And we've done 45,000 tons of carbon. We plan to do 1 billion tons. We want every builder to join and use our platform to make it possible. That's what we do.
We're all here. Your target audience is right here, and hopefully we help you on your road to 1 billion. Is that what I heard, right?
Yeah, 1 billion tons.
That's a big number. Hopefully we can get there soon.
So here's the number, and it looks like we're going to make it fairly informal. So the world's carbon footprint in 2019 was 43 billion tons. If all real estate developers in India join together and mitigate 5 billion tons, that's it. We just need 8 of those, and then the world will be carbon neutral.
That's definitely quite significant if you think about it. Is the role from what the stat I've heard is the cement industry by itself is the 3rd largest producer if you compare it to United States and China.
That's right. That's right.
And our industry definitely plays such a big role. So it's kind of interesting how much we need to think about the materials we use, the products we're kind of putting in there, and how to make it economical for everyone to be able, for it to reach the customer through the developer to them.
Yeah, and it's a great question. I want to answer that. I don't know if you want to wait Tharun or Tharun.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for the invite. My name is Tharun. I'm the founder of ECOSTP Technologies. So what we do is we convert bad water to good water without using power or chemicals. In other words, sewage treatment plants. So biological sewage treatment plants which convert bad water to good water without no power, no chemicals, and no manpower. I mean, it looks too good to be true, but that's what we do. And we have over 150 installations all over India. Yeah, the brief, that's what we do, yeah.
So just to get it right, you guys look at almost defunct sewage treatment plant systems, which I'm sure there's no shortage of in almost every metropolitan city of India. And you guys are capable of sort of revamping it and making it viable financially as well as from a sustainable perspective. That's what your business model looks like.
Yes, yes. When primarily now we are trying to, it's a big issue. Everywhere it's broken, right? 80-90% is broken. So it's too big a problem. So right now we're focusing on the new builds coming up. New villas, new apartments, new colleges, new ashrams, temples coming up, and we focus on them right as of now. Because it's a massive, massive problem. The whole system is broken.
So just to kind of dig deeper on this, going from Sourabh again to start with is, what inspired you into sustainability? Like, why was sustainability like a core feature of your business model that you wanted to focus on?
To answer that, let me begin with why I started fixing potholes. When I started my career, I was a software developer. I used to work with HP. And the news of pothole accidents used to catch my attention. And I was like, I was thinking that who in this world has taken birth to die on a pothole? And this is where it started that, I am not a civil engineer. I have no knowledge about how roads are made. So still, I would want to go out and fix a pothole on my own. Maybe, I can save 1 life, 10 life, but at least, that is something that I want to do. So it all started from there. And I knew that I can't do a road from the traditional, that road roller machines and all those things. Like, okay, I'm not a contractor. I wouldn't be able to do that. But I can, if it's something which is like, it's in a bag, small little bag, you put it, it's done. It doesn't really involve a lot of technical understanding, but still the road was repaired. This is how it started. And then I met my partner, founder, Dr. Pratap, and we started using something called cold asphalt, which is a sustainable product. So even in rain, you can actually go out and fix a pothole. And I always, tell this to everybody, that it may sound really difficult, but if you know how to cook a Maggi noodle, then you know how to fix a pothole. It's as simple as that. So it's, it comes in a bag, you pour it on a pothole, and that's it. So this is where the idea started. And we were like, we will never get into something which is heating and then it pollutes the environment. How do we still, go ahead and build something? And plastic waste, as the problem is all around us. And we just hear about that and ultimately maybe, do few tweets and write some articles, and that's it. That's the end of the story. That's something that was always in back of our head, and we were like, we will focus only on plastic waste to start off with. And what all did we not try? We used single-use plastic. We used MLPs, the Lay's wrapper packets. Failed. Understood कि उससे नहीं हो पाएगा, कुछ और देखना पड़ेगा. So then eventually we got into something which is called polypropylene. Now, to explain you in the most simplest way, the bottle caps are polypropylene. So the roads that we make, our product, is something that has a component of these bottle caps, the chairs, buckets. Those all are the aspect. So for us, a lot of people have asked that, wouldn't it be more cheaper if you use virgin plastic? And the answer was always that I don't want to be another contributor. There is enough in the world, and we are yet to recycle that and upcycle that and make meaningful products. So that's where the entire, orientation started. And I believe that somewhere it is instilled with me and Pratap, my partner, both of us, that if we did not believe personally in, within us, that sustainability is an important word, and we believe that, we wouldn't have done that, to be really honest. We did not do it because the market was asking for it. We did it because we were asking for it. So that's our motivator, how we have tried, and we are trying to change the industry, which is a so-called very traditional and conventional industry.
Sourabh, sorry, Sriram, before you go ahead, let me thank you for, first of all, coming up with the idea of solving this pothole problem. But trust me, in Bombay, it's more than just potholes. It's pretty much a car hole which we deal with. So soon, hopefully we will also have a solution to larger problems which we face on our roads. But absolutely fabulous venture and great thinking and great timing, because trust me, it's only been getting worse. We really need some out-of-the-box solutions, and I think at some point in time it would be great to see you pitching to the corporation on how to solve this problem. Sorry, Sriram, to take away from your time. You can tell us how this journey began for you.
Sure, sure. Thanks. And I'm going to answer your question with him too. Yeah, so I was also a person in tech industry. I worked for a decade in tech. I was in California for a long time, working on voice over IP actually, telecom. But climate change was something of a personal interest for a long time. I was working in a non-profit, helping social enterprises in India, funding them from the States. But then I studied sustainability as a leadership program in California, and then I moved back to India with the idea of urban sustainability problem in India, with absolutely no idea what the problem was. So for the past 9 years, spent a lot of time, worked with different kind of industries, narrowed down to buildings because, and I'm sure the sparse builders we have here will agree that buildings have a huge environmental impact. In fact, buildings are the second most impactful industry in the world. But unlike all the other top industries, buildings have the highest mitigation potential of greenhouse gas emissions for the least cost. So we work with Swiggy, we work with Featherlight, we work with textile companies, we work with restaurants, but we carefully chose that builders will be where we can have the maximum impact. So that's how we started working with real estate industry. That's how we built a platform for real estate industry. Otherwise, my personal journey has been, I was happy not using plastic and turning off a light till I really realized the impact we can have, and that's what we have. So to answer your question on the thing, embodied carbon, how do you know what is the best solution, right? They not only fill potholes, but they have a product which will reduce cement by 50% for your roads, 85%. So we did so our platform does that. Our platform will be able to calculate the impact of every such product, and we are providing it to builders so that they can have more conscious choices. So for any of your projects, you have your inner roads, walkways. We can tell you how your carbon footprint can come down by 70 to 80% using their product. And such information we have. And so there are material to answer your question like that.
Got it. So from what I understood is the role you kind of play and you're thinking about is kind of assisting other sustainable providers in a certain sense and creating that connection from building and builders to those sustainable providers, if I'm not wrong.
Kind of, yes. But we're sitting from the builder's side because I feel, and here's the thing, right? This is a study working with so many builders. We did about 11 million square feet all these years with different builders. What we've understood is the builder has to sign the check. They are the key stakeholder in that sense. But their hand are tied behind, depending on the architect, the consultant, the MEP, etc., etc. There is nothing which is empowering the builder to make right choices in sustainability. Whether it is setting sustainability goals, whether it is identifying which vendor to work with, whether identifying what is the right price to sell at. And so we come there and we're saying we'll help you make all those decisions. I'll give you a simple example. As a builder, I'm sure you family business, right? So you have financial goals. You will say that a project should deliver 35% profits. You will say that next 3 years I want to deliver 10 million square feet. But when it comes to climate change, there are no goals. We don't have the intelligence to set up goals. So we are saying, you tell us you have a 10-acre piece of land, you want to do 1,000 houses, we'll tell you what sustainability goals to set. And then we'll tell you what solutions, and we'll say, hey, for STP, there's an ECOSTP which will help you reduce the carbon footprint by so much. There is a product for roads which will help you reduce the carbon footprint by so much. What is the cost? What is the impact? What is the value for you? What is the value for the customer? All those we'll tell. So, but we are on your side, not on the vendor side.
I'm going to be a little bit of the typical builder, and I'm going to channelize that builder mentality per se. And I'm going to throw a spoke into the wheel of what you've been trying to say, just to play the devil's advocate. I'm constructing something which is supposed to have a lifespan for at least 100 years, if not more. Every time someone tells me cement, concrete is a bad word when it comes to sustainability. But when you equate it over the period and the life cycle of cement, and the fact that cement can be reaggregated and reused again, is cement really that bad a component? Is concrete really that bad a resource when it comes to sustainability? I probably said something which offended them.
No, it's good. We're having a little more intimate setting. So, first of all, buildings, Indian building lifespan is about 60 years, not 100. That's a number. Second,
Right. And I don't mean to stop, object to that. I know most buildings actually last for about 60 to 70 years at best. But concrete itself has a life cycle which we absolutely cannot document.
Correct.
Any structural engineer today will give you will never give you a certificate that this building is meant for so many years. So I'm just looking at the core aspects of it.
yeah. So I was just adding that data. You're right. The question is very good. Quite honestly, it's a fantastic question. Here's the point. It's similar to plastic. Now, this is a terrible use of plastic. Okay. Whereas, these speakers is a great use of plastic. So every material has a good and bad. This idea that plastic per se is wrong is a stupid idea. I am a person working in climate change, I'm telling you this. This is a bad use of this material, actually. Right? So there are certain things. So cement and concrete, as you rightly said, there is no like-to-like replacement if you want to build a 100-story building, but for cement in different forms. So you have to use it. So the question is, there will be some amount of embodied carbon there. That's why if you see none of the big builders in their net zero goals have embodied carbon part of it. They have operational carbon. They don't have embodied carbon. We can't be net zero and embodied. You all have to shut shop. You have to stop buildings. That's the only way you'll be. Now, the question is, when you are going to build, what can you do better? You cannot replace cement completely, but there are alternatives to do that. Certain kinds of walls can be with lesser cement. Certain bricks can be made without fresh cement. Cement industry can become sustainable, but if we continue to use a lot of cement, we are not going to be in a sustainable world. So I think it's a complex answer, but that is a complex question. But it's a right question though. I think if you're conscious about it, right, there are ways around it. Like there are bricks made of waste now. We work with a company where we made brick with recycled granite. There's another brick, now we have it testing in our system of made from agriculture waste. So these things will help you reduce the amount of cement you use. So we'll have to figure that out.
So we could definitely get deeper into the math and the calculus of this, but before we do that, let's move on to Tharun and hear about his journey and what kind of got you into choosing STP and sewage treatment plants. Like, because there is a traditional way and there's a newer technology about it. What are you working on, and what got you intrigued to enter the space?
Yeah, my story is something like Sourabh said. So I live in Bangalore, right next to a lake called Vartur Lake, or it's known as a burning lake. You guys in Bombay, very lucky. All the sewage goes to Juhu and Haji Ali, the two places, right? In fact, now I was telling Sriram, this project is getting completed. Tender is out. The sewage treatment project is 28,000 crores. So it's a bit. So all the world's topmost GE, everybody is camping in Bombay and lobbying, and the multiple teams how to get this deal. So 28,000 crores is the government sanctioned only for Bombay. But Bombay is lucky, at least we have something going on. Bangalore is pathetic because we have only no water bodies, only lakes. So it all goes to lakes. So I live near a lake which burns once in a while because of sewage that comes in. And last time, you won't believe, it burned for 14 hours, 1-4. A lake burning for 14 hours. And we got the army to douse it because I know Sriram remembers this. Our local fire engine couldn't stop it. So we got army to douse it, 5,000 Jawans on the job. And that's where I was an IT guy. I was IT security head I was setting up Aadhaar security, a happy IT guy. Then I realized my community also is letting sewage to the lake. And the lake is burning because the sewage coming all over. So sewage is what treating the, burning the lake. And this, how much it is? We got talking about 400 million liters per day of sewage. 400 mld sewage every single day. And the lake has to burn. There's no choice. So, and since you all come from IT, we go to this root cause analysis. Why is burning? So when we do why, we found is because the STP technology is broken, right? End users, builders make a nice STP, they hand out to the end users, they don't know how to run it, and a lot of complication, lot of power, and Bangalore runs on UPS, so this needs a lot of power, so it can't run on solar. So it's a tough thing to do, so they just let out, switch off the STP, let out the drain goes to lake. So that's the root cause. And when we knew the root cause, we thought, let's see a solution. So me and some friends together, we started research. We got a lot of help from a biomimicry institute based out of US, Montana. So we got a mentoring from them, we got a grant from them. So that's how we started. And we looked at how did nature solve this? How did nature solve the sewage all these years, right? Because the only technology available today in the market, only technology is blow air through fecal matter. You put a blower and you blow air through fecal. That's nothing else. You keep blowing air and you add another motor to add bacteria. So this is only technology. So there's no, so any names, it comes to SBR, MBR, different names, but end of the day, all are blowing air through fecal matter. And that's not a great way to do this. How long can you blow air, right? You as a developer hand out to the resident association, they can't keep on blowing air, right? And there's only one hero, an operator, he has to run it. So it's fundamentally a flawed model. So which we tried to break through. We made a lot of mistakes. We improved. We got a product ready. We got a patent on it. And then we started. 3 years back, we started selling it. And we have all over India happy customers. And we achieved a quality standard called BOD 10 and COD 50 without power or chemicals. That's how we started. It's a tough journey, but that's how we...
And Tharun, to your point, and full props to you guys. It's probably the most unglamorous thing to be working with an STP solution. You got to deal with all sorts of smells and all sorts of exposure to soluble waste. Let's just leave it at that. But I'll tell you something which one of my oldest landlords told me. A building with a good plumbing is the best building to live in. And he said it's even for a person. And I'll tell you, even today it rings in my ears, because any building with a plumbing problem, it could be the best facade, it could be any amount of amenities. But when you have a plumbing problem, boss, you will be hoping for some solution like this. And trust me, you would not want to come home from a hard day's work if you have a plumbing issue.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
You want to take it over, Yash?
So just to kind of expand on what you kind of described in the difference between Bombay and Bangalore as well in terms of like the promotion of STP as a concept. And so kind of taking a higher picture around it is like the ECs that right now we are having major level of regulation so that we can implement all of these environmental, sustainable, cultural movements. What do you think is the direction of the government's role in kind of expanding the bigger picture? Do you think they're doing enough? Is there something else that you want out of that?
Yeah, it's a great question. Extremely challenging market, like he said, but at the same time, it's sometimes too good to be true, right? How can something with no power, no chemical works, right? So, and the competition also, everybody wants power, everybody wants noise. That's how it works. So we, in fact, in some 6 months back, we got a notification from the government saying that our biological STP is not allowed to be sold in the country, right? So instead of helping us, we got kind of banned in the country. So because the competition is so tough, because we started selling Adarsh Group. Adarsh Group switched to us, a big moment. DS Max in Bangalore switched to us. Adani Realty, Delhi switched to us. So and that gives us a kick. Amar is here. Kick to us as a startup. How do you fight it out, right? So I got it banned, but we went to the Karnataka Pollution Control Board and told them, sir, unfair. You can't ban a good thing, right? I'm confirming all the standards, so you can't do this, right? Then did some lobbying thing. Then they agreed to put a STP in their own premises in KSPCB, Karnataka Pollution Board, and that got working. And immediately that notification was withdrawn. It said that as per Water Act, I can't ban any technology. So it's a tough thing. So you don't get support, but sometimes it's a huge challenge to convince the regulatory to do that. But it's on. I'm sure a good thing we can hold on for a long time, right? It happened in Bangalore. Now we got working for the regulator. So we say, guys, you yourself are using it, because regulator is also polluting the lake. So we and they don't put any STPs. They only dump to the drain. So now we have an STP for the regulator, and they know it's working, and that's how we've been. But it's a tough journey, and we just started the journey.
No, that definitely sounds like quite the experience to go through, and it's hard to kind of experience a backward step when you're kind of like working towards such a positive movement, which kind of was what the purpose of the EC entire culture is. And just to kind of dig a little deeper on this, so that was like a backward step. What's a forward step you're kind of hoping from them?
Yeah, so we've been selected by Amrit 2.0 as one of the technologies to be promoted in India, in Delhi. So we got a 20 lakh grant to start a pilot. So work is going on. We're going to put an STP in Delhi, one of the crowded places. So we're hoping that once that, and it's a funded project. So we're getting 20 lakhs, we're deploying it, and we make sure that's a role model, and then we'll hopefully we may get a new regulation to adopt us much higher, right? So that's the work is in progress, but that's a good sign.
Sriram, I have a question especially targeted towards what you guys do at Smart Dharma. So we had one of our panelists in the previous session where real estate equals to the real investment, and he made a very interesting point. He said kudos to developers. In spite of the increase in construction costs and material costs, you've not seen a drastic increase in real estate pricing. And it seems that developers have somehow, in some way, been able to absorb this commodity cost. Usually sustainability and sustainable products, when you bring in such innovation, it comes at a cost. How does Smart Dharma ensure that you guys will mitigate this cost for developers?
Yeah. So, all right. So there are two, three ways to look at this. First of all, the idea that it costs more, yes, it does. I mean, the bottom line is a portion. Some of sustainability will cost, some won't. We've seen a project where in Bangalore, we saved about 22 rupees per square feet, a residential project, through various initiatives and water done. There is the possibility to save. But let's take the case that it does cost. Let's say it costs about 75 rupees per square feet higher, right? Now, it's not necessarily that the builder has to absorb that cost. What we've understood is India is a kitna deti hai country, right? I love the ad where that guy is standing in front of a rocket and is saying it's the fastest rocket to Mars, and then this fellow is asking, but kitna deti hai? We are a numbers-driven country, which means, and our customer is not unintelligent. They're very intelligent, very smart. If you are able to explain why something costs 50 rupees more, they will spend, right? iPhones are selling really fast in India. Why? None of us will understand that there is AI, nanotechnology in the 8-core chip. Who understands, right? But they take loans and buy the phone. They understood the value of it. I think sustainability, there's a huge, tremendous opportunity in the real estate industry where builders are not yet latching on to selling that idea to the customers. So today, I can tell you, in Bangalore, we have 2 clients at least of the 20 odd builders we've worked with, who in their sale, if you see their cost sheet, there is a 50 rupee green fee. They are able to charge because they're able to sell that idea to the customer. I think builders are not latching on to the idea of selling sustainability because builders are unsure of understanding what is sustainable. They're like, I'm not sure. I have to meet mandate. I don't know if I can use to sell it. Let me sell location. One of these days, location is not going to sell. An 1800 SFT apartment is an 1800 SFT apartment. I mean, Mumbai it's 800, but in Bangalore 1800 is a normal number, right? 1800 is 1800. Every builder is selling it. Why should I buy from a builder? USP, I'm telling you that cost of 75 rupees, it's very easy for the customer to pay that 50 rupees extra and the builder absorbs 25. Now why builder has to absorb the little cost? I know MCHA has a roadmap of by 2040 to be this. That is going to cost and you guys have to take it. And so I think that 75 can be split between customer and you. It's not going to be an issue. There are enough ways. We have seen customers sell at 300 rupees extra per square feet based on the idea of it's a sustainable house.
So I do think, I mean, I partially, as a young person in the industry, for sure, psychologically lean towards like, there is a responsibility for us to kind of play a role as well. But just to be devil's advocate as well, to your point about the customer kind of buys into it, which I feel like if you use the example of the iPhone, there's an instant gratification that the user experience provides. While in our case, it's pretty much the same product, but it's invisible, right? So the user experience has not changed much, which is why they kind of struggle to go like, what am I paying for? While how, like for me as a builder, like what I feel like how I can pitch sustainability is, instead of the version of location, is like, oh, it's a greener project. While that's not actually the sustainability that the builder is really providing, it's the other elements, but the greener is the version of it. So that is the user experience that I can really pitch to someone, while the rest of it, as a builder, I feel a little like the user has struggled to get that instant gratification. So maybe the question lies is, what are some things that we can provide that present an instant gratification for a user to go like, okay, it's worth paying it?
I think there is so much data available now that if I'm a buyer, if I'm told by the builder, and I'm not biased, I'm average Joe buyer, right? If I'm told that my monthly maintenance cost will drop by 30% as opposed to if I bought from an average builder, why won't I be interested? I'm going to live there 15 years before I sell it and go to another place. I am told that 30% of my monthly expenses will be saved. I am sure I'll have water, even if the next door neighbor is not going to have water. That has to be sold with number back, not to say it's a green project with green color. I saw, and no offense to anybody, but some of them with green color. Color is 15 years ago. Right now, we should give numbers to back it. Customers will get gratification if you are able to say, look, if you buy here, your cost of living is going to come down. You are going to leave because house is a future security investment. House is not an instant gratification investment. And we can, I can give this view and you'll say, yeah, but my sales guy is saying, which is true, I understand that. I don't disagree to the problem. Actually, quite honestly, I don't disagree. But I'm saying that the solution is there. It's how well we are marketing. I think the power of marketing is not captured in the real estate industry as yet. I think we can market. Think of it. Yeah. Everything under the sun. We have, Steve, again, I'll give this example. Instant gratification. It's like this. If you take an average person, give a Samsung phone and an iPhone, take two pictures and ask them to differentiate which phone took it. Can they tell the difference? Nobody can say. There is studies, in fact, there's a study done on cigarettes. I don't know if you know this. 75% of people, when they're blindfolded, they couldn't tell that what brand cigarette it is. There is data to back that people do not. It's about how well you marketed it. Think of a builder, Total Environment. I don't think they've come to Bombay, but Total Environment is based in Bangalore. They have a name, Total Environment. They don't know their carbon footprint. They stopped using climate change and sustainability in their marketing since 2016 because they don't know their impact. Till then they wanted to build sustainably. But today they don't use because they don't know their impact. They called us to help calculate their carbon footprint so that they know how sustainable they are. I think marketing is, we have not even touched the tip of the iceberg of how well to sell the idea of sustainability. Everybody else is doing in all other industries. We should just do it in sustainability.
Yeah, I'll just add what he said. Initially, when we start selling, ours is like it's not like iPhone. It's not an aspirational product. How do we sell and it's typically done by plumbing consultants. Even architects don't like to talk about STPs, right? So we're trying to move up the value chain a little bit, and we got a lot of support from IMA Motherbath. We did an incubation from them. They told us to sell different. Don't start selling. Talk about only money, right? So we started talking money. For example, now how we sell today is. We say 100 KLD STP, around 150 homes. We say if you put our STP, right, forget about brand, put our STP, you will save 8.5 lakhs every year. You keep saving money year after year because there's no power, no chemical, no operators, and is backed by a lot of data. And number two, you will save 6,500 kilowatts of power every year, year after year, and 50 tons of coal. So because India's power is generated 70-80% from coal, and we have the IIT Madras. So we got IIT Madras to do a study and said 50 tons of coal. So if you buy my product, you save 50 tons of coal. So I'm not selling STP. I'm selling something different. I'm saving you coal. Every year you save coal and power and also money, right? So in the heart, they're happy that I'm saving money. That's a real reason why they're buying to us. But they want to tell the world that I'm buying because of the coal saving and power saving. So I'm sustainable. But if it's only sustainable, may not sell. But the money is important. Unless you showcase the money bit, even though a product like ours is like it should be a instant seller, right? No power, no chemical. Why should someone not buy it? But existing systems are all based on power, motor. People won't shift unless the money bit is called out so big.
Before Sourabh has a point to make, I'll just tell you, Tharun, as far as instant gratification for the STP and soluble waste ecosystem goes, I think the best example would be Changi Airport, where they have STP underneath the airport, which today treats soluble waste and it ends up in your drinking water and you don't even realize it. Instant gratification right there. And if we can put such examples across to our end users, I am sure people will be able to digest this. We will be able to absorb costs, something which Sriram was saying is a problem for most developers and customers alike. I think if we look at these real life examples and we try to bring them into our day-to-day construction, we will definitely overcome that instant gratification hurdle which we see. Sorry, Sourabh, you had something to say.
When we talk about sustainability, and I keep telling about this, that अगर बनिया की तरह नहीं सोचोगे तो कोई खरीदेगा नहीं. And when the offer that we have, we say कि आप रोड हमसे बनवा लो. तो ये नहीं पूछते हैं कि प्लास्टिक कहाँ से आ रहा है या फिर क्या है. I mean, that's secondary. पहला सवाल होता है कि पैसे कितने कम लगेंगे. And I am also a very true believer saying that if there is a solution that exists in the market, and if it is not at a price which is cheaper than the existing product, sorry, but you don't have any buyer. And this is where, honestly, speaking, when we launched our grid mat as a product, our offer was initially 2,500 rupees per square meter. That also was cheaper, but when we compared that with best of the best roads, which ideally doesn't exist. Now, our solution is exactly half the price. Our roads are at 1,200 rupees, which is almost 30 to 40% cheaper than the traditional. I mean, a lot of people who are there in real estate, so you know your price.
I'll help you with that. Today, the municipal corporation charges you about 8,800 rupees a square meter for developing a concrete road.
So there you have the data, 8,000 rupees versus ours is 1,200 to 1,500 rupees. So what I strongly believe is sustainability is a good thing. It's a must thing. By heart, I say कि बहुत ज़रूरी है. But out there, when we are selling, we have to say that it's a good thing at a good price. If it is not at a good price, sorry, but whatever we say, it just remains in a platform like this. And as we go out of this platform, it is just the end of the story. So this is where we as a startup also, we worked a lot, saying that how do we bring more transparency? How do we ensure, like Tharun is a great example. I mean, he doesn't install it. He says that builder आप ही लगा लो, हम आपको बता देंगे कैसे करना है. So there you are, right? So that's where it reduces the cost. And no offense to what Sriram says, sustainability does come at a cost. But मेरा मानना ये है कि भाई सस्ता बनाओ तभी जाके कुछ हो सकता है. अगर महंगा है तो it will take its own sweet time, and by that time I don't know if we will be still that energetic to see it possible. So yeah, I mean that's my take on that.
Sourabh, come right now and give you a big tight hug. As a developer, Sasta Banao is our motto.
Sasta or tikau?
Specifically in the Indian, I would say, like with the Western context, okay, it can be more expensive. In the Indian context, jugaad is a thing, so we got to figure it out. So I would say, I would put back the responsibility on Sriram as well. Instead of sending it towards us, help us to better jugaad.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's the reality, and that's what we have to be. That's where we have to be.
So just to kind of expand on this, one of the questions I was thinking about before is, all of you all clearly have been in this for a decade plus and more and have the knowledge for sure. If you all were starting today, say 2022, and you all were like, okay, these are the things that kind of exist already, within sustainability, and clearly all of you all have been motivated by seeing that something needs to be done. What would be the next thing that you would say that this is the next trend within sustainable products or innovations for the built environment? And you can start with Sourabh and then move down.
I think the way I've been having interactions with my siblings who are like the Gen Z, उनका thought process कहीं और है. You know, they are very woke, they are conscious about environment, और उनको अगर कुछ नहीं पसंद है कि अगर इससे pollution हो रहा है तो they're like नहीं मेरे को जानना ही नहीं, खरीदना ही नहीं है. So this is where they are. So we are like, let's say I am a developer, I am a provider, saying कि कल तो तुमको घर खरीदना ही है. आज का जनता ये बोल रहा है कि मेरे को घर नहीं चाहिए. Because I want to stay near to where my office is. So probably I'll rent it out, and that's where the industry is also transforming, if I'm not wrong, right? Though we have home buyers, but at the same time there exists a market जहाँ पर people are like, okay, अगर मेरे को यहाँ पे एक महीना shared space है, everybody is, everything is rented, but it's a good quality, I'm okay with that. So my thought process, if I start today, will be कि आज की जो जनता है उसे क्या चाहिए होगी. And आज की जनता is conscious about climate change. For them, it's not a buzzword because they're seeing it. And at a point of time, they've started blaming us also. Though I'm still a millennial, but still कि आप लोग कचरा करके चले जाओगे, भुगतना हमें पड़ेगा, right? So that's where we have to consciously start thinking. I mean, it can no longer be just talking and in conferences or maybe writing an article about that. We have to think beyond that. And क्योंकि अब मेरा रिश्ता नाता कंस्ट्रक्शन इंडस्ट्री के साथ है, I would still come out with something which is focusing on construction industry. As you rightly said, cement is one of the biggest polluter, but we cannot get rid of that. So trying and find alternate solution within that, and there exists. Trust me, we are doing a lot of research on also coming up with green concrete, which is industrial waste, fly ash, all these things, because thermal power plants are going to be there for at least 50-60 years, maybe probably more than that. So how do we still, whatever is existing, how do we still make use of the same thing and come up with interesting product? I think for me, sustainability is that. I can't come up with something new on my own. जो कचरा बाहर पड़ा हुआ है उसी को use करके we have to come up with something interesting. So if I have to start today, I'll probably look into more recycling, upcycling. I wouldn't say recycling, but upcycling. So yeah.
Sure. Two things. One, expanding on what he's saying, I think we will go really far ahead with the idea of a sharing as a service will come in. Today we have car sharing in Uber, Airbnb in hospitality. I think housing, working, I think there will be a massive upgrade. I know a startup, for example, which is sharing retail space now. I can go set up a pop-up shop if I'm selling water bottles for 45 days in a mall, and I'll move from there, go to another place, another place. So sharing as a service is going to be really, really big. I think it will take a few leaps ahead in housing sector and workspace. The second thing which will come is the whole idea of tiny housing will come. Mumbai is far ahead. You guys already have 600, 700 square feet. But rest of the world...
That's way too large for Mumbai, by the way.
But definitely other parts of the country, this whole idea of tiny houses, smaller houses, because your gen, as you said, is definitely with the idea that I don't need so much space. My conveniences, my interests lie outside rather than inside. In fact, we're going to go back to age old. Like if you go back to 200-year-old houses, the bedroom was very small. Bedroom hardly had light, a candle, Mombatti is all they had, because bedroom is where you go to sleep. Now you have the idea, I want to have a couch, I want to have a reading couch, I want to have a TV, all this is modern. We're going to go back, we're going to have very small houses. I think that's the second thing. And third thing is, I think we have not yet as a country and most of developing world embraced hybrid work culture. I think there'll be more and more remote working which will come. So home work and remote localized work. Like he said, I want to live close to my workspace. It'll be reverse. I'll also want to have my workspace close to my house. I think that hybrid model is going to expand. And again, this is all good for sustainability because smaller house footprint, closer house, close the workspace, and shared. This will be the thing with it.
I think this is definitely I would say, a unique take on something that already exists, the sharing as a service, because we definitely, the last 10 years has been that, but the more you can actually expand on that and kind of create a better model for everything that you kind of see in, that would be very good. And the second point for sure, the third point about, as a developer, I think we also, in the residential side, are happy that people are valuing their homes more. And that hybrid model is something that is, which will kind of lean towards the future. Plus, the fact that India is like even more a service economy today than before. As service economy grows, and that's the dominant space that we're in, the hybrid possibilities are expanded just based on the fact that our economic center of power is through that model that can do hybrid.
Yeah. In fact, I'll give two examples. Sorry. One, I don't know if you know this, Bosch is now having a model tested in Europe where you don't buy a washing machine, you buy 20,000 washes. So they'll come, they'll set up your washing machine at home, there'll be a counter, when it hits 20,000, they'll take it away and give you a new washing machine. There is a company in Netherlands which does for jeans. You can buy the jeans for 5,000 wears, and at the end of 5,000 wears, you can give it to them. 97% of the jeans is recycled and reused. Housing will also be that, because think of it, everybody wants to move, but then what will happen? Today we sell, can we collapse the house and reuse? That will come, and then that idea of a plug and play house, so to speak, right? I should be able to collapse it. I'm moving from Mumbai to, I don't know where else, Pune. I should just be able to collapse it, take it there. These will come, and that will be possible with tiny house. And the sooner you build modular houses, the faster your generation is definitely going to do that, man. We are already behind. But your generation will want that. They'll want the flexibility to move wherever I go. And so collapsible taking houses is the future.
Sriram, that's a very noble way of thinking. And that's also a way, we're going to lose a lot of customers as a developer if I think that way. But I get your point, and it's fully valid. But that said, when it comes to a home, I always believe everyone loves to have something which is theirs, where they can thumb their chest and say, I want to come back home to a house which is this big, to a family, that sentimental attachment. So I think, yes, to some extent we do like modularization as long as it helps our costs, but we also, want our identity not to get lost in all of it. And it's important that sustainability also allows you to retain your identity, and that's a much more deeper conversation. Tharun, you wanted to add something as to where do you see sustainability going in the future as far as EcoSTP goes?
Yeah, I can only talk about STP, because that's what we are focused on. So he can talk about everything, understand? I'm just focused on STP. So one of the things we're finding getting very popular is the living buildings. Is a living building, wherein our STP is integrated in the building. It's not, so normal current thinking is keep the STP far away. It's a far away room, and that's how been taught. Architects have to, instead of that, bring it closer, make it part of your systems, and reuse the water back. So completely circular system, and where do you put STP, right? So, and our STPs, there's no moving part. It's only cement, steel, labor, and sand. It's completely civil work. So now companies like Haridass developers in Bangalore, DS Max, there's no space, but even below the, I was telling, below the what do you call the columns, we put STP. So because our STP can be any shape. So living buildings, you mentioned about 100 years, so this will live 100 years. So it's completely done once upon a time, one and done, finished, and that's it. It just lives on its own. That's a big thing which is happening, and that's a good thing. Like you said, when you come home, I have a living system. I can tell my kids that I treat the waste, and we have even customers. I work with Sriram. Some customers, they actually use the water for flushing, and not only flushing, also for bathing purpose. Right? We got it all done, the toilet tap in Bangalore. So I mean, the mindset issue is there, but technically, I think that's where we are moving.
If you don't tell them, they won't know.
But that's where we are moving. That world, everything built in.
I think. I don't know, do we have time for more, or they're enjoying this? Okay. So it's a small crowd, but they're very dedicated to us. So let's take them for a longer ride. Come on. Okay. Yash, you have something, anything else you'd like to ask?
I think we can go to the audience, and if we have a mic somewhere to pass down, so we can start with a couple audience questions for sure.
Hi guys, I am really enjoying this, and I would really want you guys to continue this as moderators. Just one thing, Ricardo, with your permission, if you would like me, because this entire discussion is going on towards, like you said, become a banya and sell it, and then he's saying that it's a number game, kitna deti hai, to a very dedicated, gentleman who is trying to sell sustainability in its real sense. It's a good mix. What I would like to point on here is not a question but an offer to all of you, is that CREDAI-MCHI as a real estate body is already working on a blue book, which Ricardo knows very well. We have recently submitted a policy initiative to Government of Maharashtra, where we have given them a mantra of MMR, which is not Mumbai Metropolitan Region, but maximize, modernize, and revolutionize. And there, in that book, we have, though we are developers, we have talked a lot about mobile STPs, we have talked about unified urban water authorities, a lot of sustainable measures we have tried to pitch in. And before I put my question to you guys, my offer to you, all of you, is that I would like all of you to join us into that drive.
Yeah, please, yeah.
And work together so that we can give them something holistic. We can give the government something holistic where they cannot deny, because you guys come with a lot of data and with a lot of experience into your sectors, like roads from plastic waste. Like, amazing idea, I've been reading about it, but I know that there are people who are doing it, so let's bring them in. Rather than paying 8,800, at least we start with our own properties where we can develop roads with you and we can set up an example. So I think this forum has given us a great opportunity to combine and work together. With that, my question is, don't you think, Sourabh, this Banya Buddhi wala thing will actually hit the very concept of sustainable development? Don't you think? Because when you bring in the price strategy into sustainable development, it always collapses, right? So can't we think of something where we pitch into the clients, or we pitch into the government who is a client in one way, that this is the only way out. The ultimate cost of this particular activity is going to be lower than what you are going to think about it. I mean, is there not another way out rather than only talking about cost? I mean, I was a little bit depressed when you said that banya buddhi nahi karoge to maal nahi bikega. I mean, from an entrepreneur point of view, it is good. But don't you think that when we are talking something about Mother Earth, okay, we have to let everyone know that this is the only way out. There is no other way out.
So my Banya line was actually redirected towards what you just said. Because when we are bringing out a new solution, we have 0.1% takers. And we still have to say, sell and prove it to us. I'll give you one example. When we actually went for getting our product validated, what is the time frame that was told to us that it will take for the product to get validated? 6 years. Now in 6 years, my startup would have died. I would have started something new, and the whole GridMat thing wouldn't have come into the light of even this crowd as well. So this is where we as an entrepreneur start thinking ulta, कि हमें करके दिखाना है. And when this in fact came as a suggestion from one of the IIT professors as well, that देखो इसमें time लगेगा. The better thing is you talk to somebody like as you said, that why don't you set up an example and then say कि देखो यहाँ पे 5 साल से चल रहा है. So we are coming you with a data and with a valid proof of concept, saying that हमने यहाँ पे use किया, we saved this amount of money and this is still working without any damage. Now you say whether you will buy it or not, and they will be compelled to buy it. So this is what I am trying to do when I say Banya, because I want to first have that base जहाँ पे we have enough case studies कि आपको 100 टन का गाड़ी चलाना है, have a customer, आपको साइकिल चलाना है, have a customer, I have this. So I will have each and every case study which any person will ask, because at large our audience is the person who is driving from, let's say, Andheri to BKC on a public road. That is more susceptible to getting into injuries and damage, and probably a death, accidental death if the roads are not right, not in an internal property. बिकॉज वहाँ पे ऐसे भी 20-30 किलोमीटर पर आवर में गाड़ी चलती है, अगर आप गिर भी जाओगे आप मरोगे नहीं, but the chances of you falling on a public road and dying is significantly very high. So it has to go like that. I mean, if it is not proven, then sorry, but there are no takers, and government is one of the biggest stakeholder. At the same time, what is good with the current government setup is there are a lot of interesting startup cells that government has.
Correct.
In fact, the last edition of Maharashtra State Government Innovation Cell, we won the competition. और हमारा एक public road is going to come up in Ulhasnagar Municipal Corporation. Now this will be a validation with a municipal corporation without we validating a product anywhere. And that will be a live case study. If we fail, we fail. But we are confident because we have done so many installation, it will not fail. And then that vetted by a government authority can be now sold to any other government organization. Because government में काम करने का पहला होता है कि और किसने पहले किया है. So we have that, and that's where I think the startup ecosystem is helping us. These startup incubators, specifically by the government and with the grant. So it's not like free में करवा रहे हैं. They're giving money, and we are implementing our solution. So we have to find our ways. If we are there, we are committed to the cause of sustainability and bringing better solution. We are the one who have to find out ways how do we prove it. Because when we started fixing potholes, the first question and the most important question that अभी भी लोग पूछते हैं, आप क्यों कर रहे हो? काम तो सरकार का है.
Correct.
तो अगर हम उसी मोड में रहें जहाँ पर हम भी ये बोले कि हाँ सरकार का ही है, तो हम क्यों कर रहे हैं? So if we keep talking about the problem, there is no solution. So we have to change from there, and this is where, if you ask me, did we really imagine 5 years back when we started that at a point of time we will be constructing road? The answer was no. हमसे कोई भी पूछता था ना, कल तो आप लोग रोड बनाओगे, आप लोगों के पास बहुत पैसे होंगे. Like नहीं, हमें रोड नहीं बनाना है, हमें उस दलदल में जाना ही नहीं है. And now here we are. I'm talking about we making roads and roads. So the transition happens when we are married to an idea and we invest time.
Sourabh, I mean this purely in jest, and our Honorable CM had graced the inauguration of this property exhibition, and he also asked this question, why do roads always fall apart? And especially in Mumbai, it looks like we are all playing a simulator for a Mars rover mission or something of that sort. We just have a next level of knowing how to demolish our own roads. So, I think we've improved where we are now introspecting, and hopefully it will get to the point where we start taking action at a government level as well as at a citizen level, to solving this pothole problem, which you have a ready solution to.
Of course, that's where it starts, that, a minister at a chief minister level is actually coming to a forum and talking that, आपके पास अगर कोई solution है तो बताओ. It's a good positive start for us.
So, Sourabh, that's the point here, is that we have already pitched into the government, and we have pitched in a different way. What we have described to the Principal Secretary of UD recently is that there is a difference between growth and development. आप दो बच्चे का एग्जाम्पल लो, एक बच्चा फुटपाथ पे पैदा होता है और एक बच्चा कोई अच्छे घर पे, दोनों बड़े हो जाएंगे, but the level of development in both the bachas will be different. So that's the difference between constructing or developing without sustainability or without sustainable measures or with it. So that's the idea we have to pitch into the government, and it can only be done if we do it together. Otherwise, we will be fighting our own battles without winning it. So that's my proposal to the jury here and the panel. If we can work together, I think we can go miles ahead.
I think I can answer on behalf of all the three that we are all in.
I think they are all interested in the PropTech fund as well.
I just have 2 or 3 comments. First of all, thank you for organizing this, and so it was quite informative. The first comment that I have is, Yash, thank you for pointing it out that, the instant gratification is becoming a problem. So, like, we have taken a kind of, all our buildings should be green buildings, whether they are, certified or not. But the consumer does not understand that. And from the consumer's perspective, what happens most of the times is that the consumer thinks, ये global warming मेरा problem नहीं है. ये global warming किसी और का problem है, मैं तो victim हूँ उस चीज़ का. Then why should I contribute, towards bettering the environment? So that is something that, probably Gen Z will change it or something will change that, but that is one of the things that we are facing in terms of marketing as a problem. The second comment that I think is that, at the operational level, I think the government can incentivize housing societies, right? So for example, if you have an ECOSTP, if you are using lesser water than what they are promising to give you, or if you're using some kind of solar cells, they should give you certain amount of benefits in the property tax, in the assessments and those kinds of things, which the government is not right now actively promoting. That would kind of increase the interest in people in adopting these sustainable technologies. And the third comment is about the tiny houses. We just sold a flat last month where it was a 1 BHK flat and the family said, "Humko kitchen nahi chahiye." You know, we just want a platform with an oven in that. And we're like, "Boss, you are there. You are going there." So yeah, thank you for the session.
Yeah, so yeah, thanks. I agree with pretty much all 3 points. His short answer is I do. And in fact, starting from the last, we worked with Swiggy some point of time ago, and we were creating their roadmap on sustainability and all that. And I said, true sustainability is stop your business. Because people should learn to cook and we're forgetting it. But there's a study that kitchen sizes are dropping. So you're right. The first point though, right? I agree, customer will not, right? But here's my take. Again, it is a tough problem. But it's not an overnight problem to solve. We will need a build. So that's why I keep asking builders many times saying, are you willing to spend 75 rupees extra per square feet? If a builder says today, you know, a bunch of you are here, if you commit to that and do 2 or 3 projects, by the 3rd project, I'll guarantee if you have worked on enough branding and marketing on that front, that 75 will come back in leaps and bounds and your brand would have been better. Your conscience will be happy. Because here's the thing, okay, clincher is, we just started a project with a builder in Hyderabad, 3,000 apartment community, and now he has another 50-acre parcel of land. They brought us on and I met the directors first time and I asked them, I said, what is your interest? Forget why, I won't sell anymore. You tell me, why did you call me? Because it was an inbound call to us and I went there. So the directors told very simply, they said, we feel we're going to build 3,000 now, another 15,000 next 7 years. We feel there is some responsibility we have. I'm sure every one of you will agree on that. You do feel there is a responsibility. I think the one problem we can solve is...
We'll give her a bit, we'll give her a bit. They need to sell, yeah, so we need to give them their time as well.
I was going to say, rukavat ke liye khed hai. So yeah, so I was just saying that I feel you all have the same too. I think 2-3 projects you do branded properly, customers will understand, you will make value out of it. Until and unless we do that, many builders tell me, I was in CREDAI Youth Wing, I was invited as a speaker there, I was there in Jaipur, right? Many builders were saying, I'm meeting mandate. Every one of you here are meeting mandates. Is the world becoming a better place? It's not. Mandates are not sufficient. Mandates are not certificate. Certification is not sufficient. We'll have to do more. And that is going to cost. So that is going to cost and we got to figure out a way where all of us share it. Me as a buyer, you as a builder, we have to share that cost.
I as a developer, I'm fully ready to do that, provided you allow me to justify a good cost increase in my per square feet rate. That's the thinking.
That is our, now I'll do a little sales. We'll help you in putting a structure to your 75 rupees and you know, you will make the world a better place.
That sounds like a win-win for everyone, definitely. Tharun, it's getting late. A lot of people are a little tired. Someone will want to go for a loo break or something like that. So let's not hold them up too long. But anything you'd like to add to what was already spoken or something in lighter moments where you've realized in this PropTech space where when you look back at it and it kind of inspires you to laugh and share some lighter moment maybe.
Yeah, I just connected what Sriram said. One of the way, since connecting the aspirational question, one of the way we sell is to make the CEOs give us testimonials, right? But only we want all that CEO to give testimonials. Because if you are happy, delighted, give me testimonials. Because otherwise, it's tough to disrupt the market. It's so difficult to do. So we got a lot of CEO testimonials. In fact, now we have 18 testimonials. One of them in Hyderabad said, I'm doing national service by giving STP. National service, right? A developer saying, I'm serving the nation by putting STP, right? So we are like, how come? And with pride, so Gandhi Chaudhary, with pride is saying, I am serving the nation by putting ECOSTP. Wow. So, and he had a number with him, a number of power saved, carbon saved, and that's the story he believes in. And many people call him and say, sir, so we had Aparna builders, call him and, sir, how do you put STP and how can you serve the nation? But that's very, it's a good thing for us, but that's how we are trying to do this, some of the jovial moments, right? How we can developer can serve the nation by putting in STP.
Well, there's always some ways to a means, I guess, so yeah. So I think, do we have time for anything more, or any closing notes from anyone? You guys would like to share any closing notes further?
I mean, I just wanted to share that when we started, yes, we were, and we still are, a social enterprise. We are not a typical for-profit entity. I mean, one of our focuses has always been that how do we also connect the rural part of the country to the urban part. So there is a commitment from our side as well that we will do our bit in ensuring that the rural India is connected, well connected through our initiative. Interestingly, the last panel you had asked this, you did not ask us, what are we doing next? So I will, I will anyways share about that. So current R&D that we are doing, we are working towards making roads more sensor-based. So the roads in future will talk. They will tell about what all is happening on the road. If let's say there is an intrusion, the roads will actually give you a notification. And we are also working on making roads solar. So the roads will actually generate electricity as well with our product. So that's...
I tell you, I think you should pause. Let her finish her sales pitch, then we'll get back to it.
I think they are also saying that time's up.
Calling us to welcome someone. No, I'm joking. But do finish.
Yeah, so that's what I was telling, that we're currently doing our next research parallelly on making roads solar as well. So the roads in future will also start generating electricity. You can charge a lot of EV bikes, EV cars are going to be in place. And where do we have more real estate than roads? I mean, it's in plenty. So we will have that in place as well. And I think a lot of support from the fraternity will be needed to validate that. So yes, and some global expansion. I mean, as I speak, my partner founder is in Europe because he got invited over there saying that हमारे पास भी बहुत plastic waste है, हम समझ में नहीं आ रहा करना क्या है. So why don't you set up a factory over there? So we are exploring that too.
I have no closing comment. Time to turn off air conditioner, save some carbon, I think.
So one thing,
Thank you.
I guess just to conclude for everyone in this case, what I think it feels like is the summary of it all is, to an extent, like you guys are definitely doing a lot of the initial job of like putting out the products that can be used to change the world and push us towards that reduction of climate crisis situation completely. And what it comes down to, I guess, from I think mine and Ricardo's perspective, is a combination that we know we need to be responsible, but we are also hoping the customer is responsible. And that's something that we really want to see from that side, because once we get the feedback that they feel responsible for the environment, I don't think there will be as many developers who will say, no, we can't do it. But we don't know yet, and that interaction that is happening between us and them is, I feel, the key to making you all grow as well.
And absolutely to agree with what Yash said. Today, any developer worth their grain of salt, if they're going to build a landmark project, they will look for a LEED certification. And I don't need a LEED certification, but if I want to validate and better value my project, that's something which I'm going to aspire to, and to allow me to build a better brand and a better building altogether. Tharun, any last closing comments? And this is truly the last closing comment.
No, we have all the different viewpoints, but everybody agrees on one thing, that the next world war will be on water.
That's the bombshell I think we can end on. Cheers. Thank you everyone for joining us.
Thank you.
Akompa can take over now.
Thank you very much. It was a very enticing session. Thank you for your thoughts and thank you for being here. But before we leave you, we have something green to present you ourselves. We're going to present you a green certificate, which means that for every certificate that you receive, we've planted 10 trees across Maharashtra, making it a little more greener. So I would request, firstly, Mr. Keval, sir, if you could please join us on stage and present our fondest token of appreciation to Mr. Sourabh Kumar. Thank you very much for joining us and being a part. While we do that, may I request Mr. Shahnawaz Bhagwan from OLR Realty to join us and present our token of appreciation to Mr. Tharun Kumar. Mr. Tharun Kumar. We're also requesting Advocate Susan John, the Principal Architect from Vermax 7 LLP. Thank you for joining us, and we would request you to present not one but two token of appreciations. One to Mr. Sriram Kuchimanchi, and one to our moderator, Mr. Ricardo Romell. Ricardo, to Mr. Ricardo. Yes. Ma'am, we request you to please present it to Mr. Ricardo Romell, our moderator. And we request Mr. Satish Kumar, our head secretariat. Satish sir, are you here? Can I request Architect Sanjeev John, sir, if you could please join us on stage and present a token of appreciation to our co-moderator, Yash Mirchandani. And can I request all the panelists, the moderators and the co-moderators to join us for a photograph, also the presenters, if you could please join us for a photograph. And on that note, we end the sessions on day 3 of CREDAI-MCHI Grand Property Expo 2022. We've got some eagerly waiting people right there, so we hand it over to you.